Okay guys, this video is sponsored by Shortform. Now, I don't do ads as you guys know on this channel, but Shortform does hit the nail on the head. It's perfect for the brand, as in First Man, in terms of self-improvement. It was perfect for me too, because if you guys are in a similar situation to me, I just don't have time to read anymore, which is a real shame. But when Shortform came along, they gave me a trial period. I tested it out and I found myself reading or listening, because there's audiobooks too, to a book every single morning, and I was like, okay, this is great, because there was one thing that used to be so permanent in my life. I try and read every single morning, 20-30 minutes or whatever, and it's just gone out of my life and I didn't feel authentic. But thanks to Shortform, I've now added that back in, and I'm listening, because I struggle to read because of the time constraints, but I'm listening to a book every single morning, usually when I walk to the gym, if I take a day off, just when I'm doing my work in the morning. It's very, very useful. So if I were to describe what Shortform does, I would say book summaries on steroids. I'm always telling you guys, take the golden nuggets out of each book that you read. It's almost impossible, guys, to read a 300-page book and take and retain all of that information. So what Shortform does for you is it goes through the whole book. It takes the concise pieces of information, lines them all up for you, puts it into a much smaller amount, a more manageable amount. It even has a one-page summary too, so it just makes it very, very easy. Probably my favorite point about Shortform is the range of books that they've got on there. They've got a ton of categories. They've got an absolute ton of books that I've read in the past that I absolutely love, some of my favorites. They're adding books all the time. I was delighted to see that there were like hundreds of books that I hadn't read that I'd always wanted to read that I didn't have time to read. So I'm just flying through them at the moment. So if we're talking price, guys, the annual plan is $16.42 per month and the monthly plan is $24 per month. I've described it before as 3 pints of beer. I mean, a large pizza. Do you know what I mean, guys? There's things that add no value to your life. At least this is adding real world value. It's something you can benefit from. It's great for self-improvement. Now, everybody gets a 5-day free trial, so if you use the link below, you go on the website on Shortform, you will see a 5-day free trial. But as a bonus, what they've offered is 20% off the annual plan if you use my link below. Okay guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about why wealthy, successful men, high-value men in general, are so important to beautiful women, or just women in general, but beautiful women especially, because I guess that's what you guys are interested in, as I am. And this is why they're so important, okay? And it's a strange one to explain, but I'll kind of try and storyboard it if I can. A lot of women, when they're young, you'll see on socials, and when you talk to them, they'll say the same thing, is like, I want to start my own business. I want to be a female boss. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be like Rihanna. Okay, I want to do like a Savage Fenty type of thing. They've all got big ideas. And you say something to them like, I'll pay, and they're like, I don't need a man. You get all of that when a woman's young. They got a slight feminist culture within them when they're young. I would say women are very arrogant, as we all are when we're young, but women are very arrogant when it comes to money when they're younger, okay? And they'll kind of think like, you don't have to pay for me. I'm a boss bitch. I can make that money myself. I'm on that hustle and grind life. I'm going to start my business. We're getting it this year. We're going to the top. They'll say all the same things men will, but they don't realize how hard it is to do. Okay. And there's a distinct difference, 2 distinct differences, in my opinion, between men and women when it comes to success, business, entrepreneurship, rising to the top of a 9-to-5 job. And the first distinct difference is, in my opinion, and appreciate, guys, this is just my opinion that comes from my experience. I'm talking to a lot of you women out there that might be watching this, because this channel certainly has nothing against women, but so I just like speaking on facts, or what I see as facts and truths. I think it's important to do so. And then you can say what you want in the comments, and we can go back and forth and see the conclusion that we draw. But from my experience, with women being more emotional than men being more practical and logical, women don't make good business owners. They don't make good CEOs. Now, are there good business owners and CEOs out there that are female? Yeah, okay. Now, the majority of them have made their money via sex, okay? Something like clothing, like Savage Fenty, or that woman that did, was it Spanx that she did? Everything is making women look better. Kylie Jenner off makeup and stuff like that. Everything is like sex orientated and whatever. So yeah, they're real businesses, but they're always driven off the same thing. It's not too different to OnlyFans. It's not too different to social media. It's just, it's a lingerie company. It's like it's some nice dresses and stuff like that. It's makeup. It's, stuff like that that just makes you look good, okay? And it could be a singer, it could be an actress. It's always the hot ones that make the most money. And that's not a knock on women. That's just the way of the world. If women are hot, if they look good, if it's sex related, they seem to make money. Okay, so I think even the successful ones, there's some caveats to it. But the reason that women really suffer in business is because they're more HR driven. Now, if I were to start a business and make it successful, and then hire my HR director as CEO, and it's a she, and put her in that position, the company would probably thrive because it's already established, it's got its foundations, the hard work's been done in the early days. Now, her softer approach, more HR driven, more, I'm going to work with the people, make sure everyone's okay. Okay, what do you need to function at your best? That's not really my forte. She would do a great job there. And I've seen that a lot in this modern world, okay? Female CEOs that are killing it. They're doing a great job. But what women suffer with is the early days. And this is my point too. My second point, not my point too, is that in the early days, a lot of these women that are 18, 19, 20, 21 years old that are like, I want to start a business, I want to do this and whatever. And so they should. Like, I don't want to knock them and take away their ambition because I think it's great that they're thinking that way. But they don't appreciate how hard it's going to be. And I think men can live with less. Men can make more sacrifices. A man can sleep on a mattress in a studio apartment and have nothing in that apartment, just like a beanbag and a games console, okay, while he's grinding his way to the top. I went something like 7 years without having a car, okay, when I had money to afford one. I've probably been like 9 years without going out and having a proper piss up. I've maybe had like 1 or 2 piss ups, to be fair, with work, which has been like Christmas parties. So I've barely gone out and got drunk, had a couple drinks, partied, whatever, been on nights out. I was cutting my own hair for about 10 years, okay? I didn't really buy clothes. I didn't really buy clothes for years. I was walking around with holes in my gym shoes and stuff like that. The point I'm making is I don't think many women could do that. I don't think they'd be willing to do that. Women are socially driven. They like to look good. If they can't get their hair, nails, like everything done, they get agitated. They get really annoyed. They need to buy new clothes, new shoes. They need that night out with the girls. They need that female and male validation of you're so pretty, you're so this, whatever. It's hard for them to sacrifice for 10 years. And then secondly, on that point, if a woman starts a business at 23 years old and she knows it's going to be a 12-year grind, okay, until she becomes successful, the average person, it's the same total, she's going to be 35 years old. With respect, she's past her best. The female peak is like, if we're going to do it in an adult sense, like 18 to 28. Okay, so by 35, she's 7 years past her peak. So it's not wise for her to be patient. It's not wise for her to go on that career path. I'm a career woman. I'm going to grind. I'm going to build a business. Because when she gets there at 35, she doesn't get as much respect as the men. Like a man who's 35-year-old millionaire, he's in his prime. Okay, he gets respected by everybody. He's high value. A woman who's 35 and a millionaire, if she doesn't look good, it doesn't go down the same. Okay, and that amount of stress and those early mornings, those late nights, all of those hours grinding, sacrificing the weekends, sacrificing relationships, going without dick for like months at a time, for years at a time. Some men go without pussy for years at a time. I've just come off the back of 2. Okay, I broke it last weekend because I just got fucking sick of it, especially with where my life is. But I did 2 years where I was just like, I've got to sacrifice. I've just got to be no women. I've got to be in the zone. I've got to be focused. I don't know a lot of women that could do that. Most women I know, they're having sex probably once every 2 weeks. If they're single, that's what I mean. So, or they've got somebody that they're just seeing. They're both just using each other and fucking each other, and this, maybe she catches feelings, maybe not, but she's just kind of using that guy, right? Most girls would do that, and they need a date, and they need to go out with the girls, and they need that social time. You tell a girl you can't have that makeup, you can't have those bags, you can't have those clothes, you can't go out with your friends. I don't think a lot are going to be able to do that. So there's that sacrifice that's involved. So what this leads to is a scenario where a lot of women, they start off, they try and start a business, they've got all these ambitions, all these plans to make it big, to make a lot of money, and it doesn't materialize, okay, which is nothing out of the ordinary. There's, most men won't make it in life, but I think more of us will. And then they go and get, okay, I'm forced to get a 9-to-5 job. Maybe they've dated a few like wealthier guys and whatnot, and they're still like, yeah, but I just want to make it on my own. I've got to do this. I want to make it to the top. They go and get a 9-to-5 job for shit money. It's usually, even if it's good money's still like not great. It doesn't give you that freedom. And to be honest, guys, even if you're making like $1 million a year, but you've got to be at your desk 5 days a week, and then like it's still not a great life, okay? So this girl's sat at her desk on a rainy Tuesday. She's being chatted up by the guys in the office. She hates it. She's a receptionist. She's just like, oh, fuck off. Guys from like 10 different offices coming past, talking to her. She's just sat there bored all day, just typing away, just like, I fucking hate this. But I'm a boss bitch. I'm going to make it. I'm going to use my money. After like a few years of this, it just drains on her, okay? And she just doesn't look the same. She doesn't look as good. She just doesn't have the energy that she used to. She's like, I want nice things, but I can't afford them. I'm looking worse than I used to. I haven't been able to get my hair done in 2 months. This is getting on my fucking nerves. I live at home with my mum and dad. They're getting on my nerves. I picture my life being differently by this point. That's when their mind changes. That's when their mind goes... and it happens at different times for women. Some women do it early because they don't have that ego where they just go, fuck me, this is hard. I'm just going to get a man to do this. Okay, but then let's say she gets to like 26. She sees a guy who's like, and I'm not saying to do this because guys say this all the time. Oh, you want us to go for girls that have been ran through. I'm just using an example here. Let's say a girl gets to 26 and a guy is like 33 years old and wildly successful. She sees his lifestyle. He's traveling the world. He's on a different beach every single fucking week. He's flying around the world. He's got a nice car. He seems to be smiling. He's always got a tan. He's in nice clothes. And she's sat at her desk on a rainy Tuesday, like I said, in winter. And her tan's faded. She just doesn't look as good. She can't afford something. Something's just happened where she has to pay for this and that. Like maybe her car broke down and she's like, God, I've had to use all my wages. I don't get paid enough. This is shit. I need a high quality guy in my life. She takes the shortcut. This is the point that she gets to where she goes, fuck me, this is tough. Like, I don't want to make these sacrifices, whereas a man would, okay? So it's very likely he's going to be at that level. So this is why high-value men, successful men, rich men are so important to beautiful women, because we've all seen on social media when women are doing like, there's that one TikTok where they're like, I don't need to be doing this. I don't need to be, why am I working? I'm hot. I'm sexy. I don't need to be working. And they're right in that sense. Like, they don't need to. They can take that shortcut. They can take the cop-out. And I just find it interesting that every woman kind of gives it a go in the early days. I'm going to fend for myself. I'm going to make my own money. And they do, and they build like okay lives, but I don't think it's ever to the extent that you see these successful men getting to, where it's like 50 to 100,000 per month, traveling the world, great life, tons of options, unlimited cash. She would have the option to retire, have kids, never have to work again, come and sit on a beach with me, de-stress, eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, relax. You don't have a boss telling you what to do. You can just take pictures and look hot. When a woman's like 18, 19, 20, she might get offended about that. As she gets a little bit older, I've seen this happen time and time again. They get annoyed. I'm sat at this fucking desk. It's cold, pissed off, got no money, it's difficult. See, as a man, we are in that same scenario. But we have no choice. It's like our ships, like that example, that war story where the general, I can't remember who it was, he burnt the ships and said to the guys, you got to win there. You got no choice. That's male life. You have to win, otherwise you just fail. It's either win or have a shit life. Okay, whereas for women, it's like you can try, and if you don't win, you always have that get out of jail card. And that get out of jail card is the man that made it happen. And it's like I said, it's because women can't resist a lot of the shit. Like the sacrifices that I've made, I'm just telling you from experience, the sacrifices that I've made, the things that I've been through, in terms of like battling mental health along this way, sacrificing women, the sheer loneliness along the way where I've been on my own for like months at a time, and nobody really gave a shit because I was just a low-level guy. I don't think women can deal with that. I don't think they can. And I think that's a big reason why wealthy men are like a massive prize to women, because it's something that they can't do. And like if you ever want to attract a ton of women, just become successful, create online duality, travel around the world, have some great experiences, and just document it all. Because if you're just doing fun shit, women are attracted to that. That's something they're obsessed with. Women are obsessed with things that are unobtainable, that they can't get themselves. You know, it's like, I can pay my own bills. Yeah, you can. Okay, on a low level, you can do it. So that's why she's not going to date Johnny Nobody, who makes 30,000-40,000 per year, has a house that she can also afford. He's got a job that she could probably get, or already has, or she earns the same money. You know, she's at the same point. So do you see where I'm getting with that, guys? There's no motivation to be with something that's obtainable. Okay, but if something is unobtainable, and there's a guy that's living a life that the average person could not reach, especially the average woman, because she has to put in a 10-year grind to get to it, and she's not willing to do it. Hey, he's already done it. Great, I'm just going to jump ship and take the shortcut approach, and we're going to form a power couple. He needs me as much as I need him. I provide value in terms of like softness and submissiveness and being able to get pregnant and giving him sex and stuff like that. Well, that's an option for her. She has that as a viable option. It's a get out of jail card. And this is why successful, you know, high level, rich men are just so important in beautiful women's lives, because they will give it a go. They'll try and get to the top. But when they realize what it takes, it's usually like, fuck me, I'm not doing this. Like, I used to come back from my 9-to-5 job, and I used to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I used to walk to work. It took an hour and a half. I used to then go in the gym for an hour, work until like 8 o'clock at night. So it's like a 12-hour day. And then I'd walk home for an hour and a half. And then I'd, you know, try and, you know, crack on with my business with the 2% of energy I had left. And I remember when I was walking back, I'd see women coming the other way. Like when I'd finished work and I was coming home, they'd be coming the other way, and they were all dressed up. They looked glamorous. They looked well slept, well rested. They don't want to be doing what I was doing. Number one, there's no need. They don't have to, because I'm doing it while they're enjoying themselves. So once I get to the top, it'll be like, hey, just come and spend time with me. I'll take care of you. They know there'll be a guy like that who'll just, you know, save them at any point. So they don't need to. But it used to, you know, I used to see the situation. I could see it unfolding. Like I said, I'd be walking back. They'd be looking glamorous. They'd have like expensive outfit on. They'd, you know, be looking great, smiles on their faces. You could tell that they either had Friday off or half day Friday. They maybe got home at 1 and slept until 5 or 6, then got ready and came out. You know, they've got that option. They've got that privilege. She doesn't have to be in the office grinding. What she's going to do is spot me, see that I've got potential, make a note. Okay, look, if it's the average girl on the street, she's not going to do that. But if she knows you, or she's like met you at some point, she's going to make a note of that. Okay, he's on his grinds. I'm just going to leave him be because he's not on my level yet. He's still a risk. He might not make it to that level. Let's see where he gets. She's going to enjoy her life. She's going to get on with it. She's going to realize how tough it is and think, fuck that. Some man's going to be able to do it for me. And then when I reach the top, it's going to be like, hey, what you up to? Can I come meet you? And I'm probably going to say yeah. Okay, and this is the beauty of being a woman. But at the same time, that is why we're so important to them. Because it's something that they cannot reach. Most women will not get to that level. They don't have that logical, critical thinking. And this isn't a knock against women, but I just don't think in a business sense, in a 9-to-5 sense, in a building a successful brand sense, I think outside of sex, they don't really create many businesses. Like, you don't hear about some superstar app, like some superstar created an app and she was female. You just don't really hear about it often. Okay, it's always Savage Fenty, lingerie brand, clothing brand, makeup, OnlyFans. Like, it's always something like that. Spanx, you know. I created these gym leggings because they make girls' asses look good. It's always something like that. It's never like a legit business. So what I'm implying there is that they're using their beauty, their sex appeal, their body, the bodies of other women to take photos with in their clothing items. Other girls go, hey, I want to look hot too. It's a big bubble of sex appeal. But outside of that, if they don't have that option, or that option starts to die, which is you're sat at a desk all day, you're tired, you don't have the money to pay for these things. Women don't have the sex drive either. Like, we've got high testosterone. We've got this massive sex drive, right? And it sounds pathetic, but we accomplish massive things in life with the knowledge that it will get us a better woman. We'll be able to get sex from better women, more women. We'll earn mating rights. They don't have that. Okay, women don't really emulate that drive until they've got kids. If they've got kids and they need to, let's say they get divorced and they need to go back to work to provide for those kids, they become savages. Okay, that's where their one comes from. But in terms of like becoming successful, I just think men are better equipped to do it. I think women are just, it's a cliche and I feel bad saying this, but they are more emotional thinkers. And it doesn't work in the same way as a man who's a logical thinker, who's practical, who thinks about things. You know, men are better at maths than women. That's like almost been proven as well. And I think the financial side of business is a big part to play. You know, obsessing over the figures and what needs to be, like adding everything up and saying that this number needs to be this number for me to be profitable this year. I don't see a lot of female entrepreneurs doing that. It's more about how it makes you feel. It makes you feel empowered when you wear this and wear that. And I think that lets them down massively because they don't have the other side of the coin. That's why they're more HR driven. Okay, they make it well in that sense. But it doesn't lead to a lot of money. It doesn't lead to a lot of success. And that's why you get a lot of beautiful women who are kind of stranded. They wanted to create something. They wanted to be successful. They wanted to do it on their own. But then they realize they kind of can't. And they go looking for daddy version 2, in my opinion.